Welcome to this episode of the Smart Leaders Sell podcast. I'm Jessica Lorimer, sales coach and leadership expert, and I am really excited to dig down into today's episode. Okay guys, I am here with the lovely Mike Yanda from Laptop Empires. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
He is joining us alone today. So I feel like we have to play a little song on a violin, one of those tiny, tiny violins, because his usual business partner, Bobby, has had a little bit of an emergency. So he isn't joining us today. Big love that way. But instead, we get your presence here all day, which I'm quite excited about.
Yeah, it'll probably be easier than instead of having you, me, and Bobby all talking over each other. But it would be good if you could be here because we're usually
exactly.
Together.
We won't just say that Mike is the one with the better sense of humor. Like that's not going to happen. So I know you guys because you approached me recently. I use the word recently in a loose kind of way. Let's say the last 6 months, and said, hey, we've seen your stuff. We'd like you to talk to our members about sales. And I was like, that sounds great. And I came into your community and your people were amazing. Like, I just have to say that your people were phenomenal. They asked really interesting questions. And when I did the training, you and Bobby were so supportive. And I'm really lucky. I got to stay in the group, and it was really cool because I could see everybody's questions and I could see how you guys were answering them and providing this awesome support around Facebook ads, around blogging and traffic generation that actually a lot of people in my audience need to know about. And I was like, this is really cool. You've created a community that is one of the rare communities on the internet that actually feels like a space where people like each other and want to support each other and genuinely want to kind of support each other's growth. And I was like, I want to get all up in that. So for me, that was really exciting. But what's the actual down low on what you guys spend the majority of your days doing?
Oh, geez. A lot of stuff because we've got multiple businesses. So Bobby's a blogger. I'm a digital marketer, but he also has some digital marketing clients. And then we run Laptop Empires together. And Laptop Empires was kind of born out of this course idea called the Facebook Side Hustle course, which is the group that you're referring to, where we kind of went to Bobby's personal finance audience. And he always talked about how making money was part of his strategy, not just save money, cut expenses, budgeting, like every other personal finance person in the world, but give yourself a raise. You can only save so much. You can only cut so much. If you really want to get ahead, you want to pay off your student loans, you want to do whatever, go make some extra money. And so we kind of took our experience doing digital marketing and we put out this course directly for those people. And it was just going to be this kind of one-off thing that blew up. And so then we kind of took our combined expertise from the various businesses that we'd run and created Laptop Empires. And it's turned into this big community, the Laptop Empires podcast. Later this month, be launching the YouTube channel. There's a blog, just kind of all kinds of things. And it's really our main hustles have almost become our side hustles. And this thing has become our main thing. So, we're doing live content in there, trainings every single week, like the one that you came in and did for us, which was, to this day, I'm not saying this because I'm on the podcast, literally one of our favorites that we constantly send people to. And I know you know that because we're constantly, telling people. I try not to tag you when we send it because I don't want to okay, I will. But I was I don't want to bug her, but we're always sending people to this training because, I've got a lot of experience with phone sales and sales via email and on sales pages and just everything in there, and have done a lot of self-study. But just that one training that we did was one of the best ones I've seen, hands down. So all of y'all that are listening here, I'm fanboying a little bit, but this is the place to be. But yeah, and we're trying to create entrepreneurs. It is a lucrative side hustle for one. And so we want people to help them make money, but there's a demand for it. And there's also a lot of really shitty, people that are running Facebook ads for businesses. And we wanted to kind of fight that and put a bunch of really good quality people out into the world. And so far it's worked and it's gone very well. And our clients are making money. A lot of them, we've had people leave jobs. We've had, people where the whole couple left jobs. They're making, great money already. And it's not even a year old yet. So we spend a lot of time in that community and a lot of time like just creating things to help that community. And now we're just trying to focus on, okay, let's put more content into the world so more people can find us and we can help more people in this way, because it's been life-changing for us. And now it's just kind of one of those things like, can we give other people this opportunity to totally change everything?
Yeah. And I think that's really important. And it's so interesting because I just got back from a weekend at Upreneur and I watched so many amazing people on the stage, and we all talked collectively about impact and the fact that if you're selling anything, you've got to be genuinely passionate about the outcome and how it's going to turn out for the people who buy it. And I think that's the thing about you and Bobby, is that you genuinely are really passionate about what you want people to achieve through your courses. And there are so many people out there who are doing the whole, well, go into the Facebook Ads Manager, look and see if there's, a specific cost per conversion or a specific cost per lead, and just try and drive that up or down depending on where you are. And I think that doesn't sell as well anymore. People don't connect to that because it's ultimately, one, it's dull and it's hard for people to see. We don't all want to be stuck in metrics all day long, and I love numbers. But also it doesn't give any feeling that the people selling the course actually care about the outcome that you get. The majority of people who sell in the online space at the moment are perceived to be people who just want to line their own pockets and could give a damn
100%.
about everyone else, right?
Yeah. And there's something to that though. Like, I'm not shy. Like, I want to make money. We even say kind of like our mission statement, if you will, like it's kind of a 3-parter. And number 1 is we want to make money and we want to build an incredible life for ourselves. Bobby doesn't have kids yet, but I do. Like, we want to go travel the world, and I want to buy wine that's probably more expensive than I should be spending on wine, and do all of these things. But number 2 and 3 is we want to help other people be able to build an incredible life for themselves and their family and do the things they want. And then we want to do it in a way that's just a lot of fun for us and a lot of fun for them. And so, our trainings tend to be happy hours. Like, everybody's drinking, having a good time. We joke around a lot. Like, business should be fun. Like, yeah, it's a great way to make money or to make a side income for whatever you're doing. But like, if it's not enhancing your life, not just the money in the bank account, but like just the experience of it is not enhancing your life, you're not going to go very far. But when you're doing it in this way, kind of like we try to, it's so much fun that you have a hard time pulling away from it and stopping, because like, you want to keep going. You want to interact with your community. You want to go create the next thing. You want to work because it's fun work. So, anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on.
We were just talking about this before we hit record, like, because I was telling you about the Neil Patel episode and, his description of, and mine of this obsessiveness that we have. And he used this really great example where he was like, yeah, if I go to a restaurant or something and I see something, I'll want to tell them, oh, this is how you could make that better. And this is what you could do here. And it's the same. And I think for most entrepreneurs, people can feel like that burns out. And I've always been like, that's never changed for me. I've always been this obsessive about sales and sales psychology because it's so interesting to me and it's ever changing and I can be at the forefront and things like that. I think when it starts to change, when people start to get burnt out, is when they've been doing something for so long that they've just focused on the shoulds and not the things that are working. And when you don't see results for a prolonged period of time, or when you're doing things that people tell you should do but aren't yielding the same results for you, that's when you start to get frustrated. And that frustration, it dominates everything. It takes away that obsessive passion that you have.
Well, and building a business is a lot of freaking work.
Yeah.
And so you have to enjoy yourself and you have to do it in a way that you're going to enjoy. And personally, I've found, and one of the reasons I think Laptop Empires for us has grown so quickly compared to our individual business and the rate of growth for those, was it was a second thing for us. And so we're like, we've got these serious businesses, like we're going to have fun. Like our logo is like this ridiculous hip hop teddy bear with like a crown, like a big thug chain, like gold chain and stuff. Like, it's silly, but like we have a lot of fun with it. We have a comic book artist on staff that gives us new art every week, like gives us a new picture of this teddy bear to use in our social media and different things. So like we try to have fun with it. And we had kind of the luxury of like, hey, this works or it doesn't. We're doing it because we want to, and we're going to do it the way we want to. But when you get, I've been in that before where you're running a business the way somebody tells you should do it and the way you're supposed to do it. And it's so hard because if you don't like it, if you're not comfortable with it, if you hate it, you're never going to have success there. And what I've found with Laptop Empires and with other things I've done is that when I've just said like, screw it, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, we have a lot more success. So you need to trust your gut. You need to do things the way you want because you have to live with it. You have to be happy, and it needs to be like, especially because sometimes when people tell you the way you should do things, like you might hate that, or it might feel wrong. You know, I remember my very first business I started back in law school was an online fitness business. And I just happened to see this opportunity and was like, I'm going to do this. And I built it up, was doing really well. And I remember hiring a Facebook guy to help me drive traffic before I learned it. I got burned like crazy, but it's how I discovered this whole world of paid traffic. But one of the things he was trying to get me to do was sell this high ticket stuff and to do some of these high pressure sales things for like overcoming objections. And it worked. And I was good at it because I'm a lawyer. I can, talk to a fence post and make it fall over, but I hated it. And so I would get done with these calls at the end of the day and I would have made money and I was going to help these people get results, but I didn't feel good about it. Like I felt I was beating myself up because I didn't feel like a good person because I wasn't doing it in a way that was aligned with like my beliefs and my morals, so to speak. And as soon as I took some of the things that I learned from that guy and that I learned about sales and that I learned about paid traffic and I got rid of them and I started doing it my way, and all of a sudden I felt a lot better and I had a lot more success. So yeah, it's super important, but like you're going to have to hustle your face off to do this. Like I know everybody gives Gary Vee a lot of hate for that kind of thing, but you have to work your ass off. So you better find a way that works for you, that you're happy with, because if not, you're going to be miserable working your face off, and you want to at least be tolerable or enjoying doing the work.
I think it's really interesting because people often say to me like, how many hours do you work? And I don't work all that many hours. However, the caveat always is I have the benefit of 4 years in the game. So I've done this for 4 years. I've improved my processes over time. I've automated an awful lot of the things that go on in my business. I'm really fortunate to have a team that is amazing at systematizing things. My job is effectively turn up, look pretty, say things, say stuff, say interesting things, do interesting things, sell, create content. And that's your job. And I think you have to, as a business owner, when you're a new business owner, you have to do everything. And so it's, I think Gary Vee gets a bit of a bashing because he's like, hustle, 24/7, do all the things. Gary Vee wants you to be on every platform ever created.
And I disagree with that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I massively disagree with that. I'm like, Snapchat, what? But it's one of those things I think you have to hustle in your areas of strength. And for me, 100%. Sales, live selling was always an area of strength. So I was like, I know that my best opportunities to get sales are to get on the phone with people, or to be on video with people, or to be somewhere that people can hear and see me. That's always going to be the best and easiest and most enjoyable way for me to make money. The things that I'm terrible at, accounting, I outsourced right at the beginning because I was like, there's no way that I want to spend my weekends or my evenings pouring through an Excel spreadsheet trying to work out what any of the numbers mean. I just don't care enough. And so I think you have to, certainly when you're new, there are things you can't give up, right? There are things that you can't not do. Sales is one of them. Marketing is another. Without those two things, your business is not a business. It's a very expensive hobby that doesn't work. But, you get to choose how you do it. You get to choose which platform you're on, and you get to make it work in your way.
100%. And I think like that's something too. I talk to business owners all the time when they're getting started out and they're trying to do everything. And it's like, pick a traffic generating platform and maybe pick one social platform. And so for me, like a traffic generator, I wouldn't even say a podcast is a traffic generator. I would say it's more of an engagement, like warm up the audience platform. So either write or do video, like pick one of those, because YouTube and blogs will both generate traffic. Pick one of those as your main content platform, focus on that, and then pick something you enjoy, whether it's Instagram or, you know, Twitter, whatever, Snapchat, whatever. Just like pick one. And that's just to kind of have fun, distribute content, and engage with your audience. And if you just do those things, then you're going to do well. And then it comes down to, like, even if you're, I think my biggest regret as a service provider was that I didn't do one of those content platforms from the beginning. I didn't have a blog. I didn't have a YouTube channel or anything like that to build an audience like I had in a previous business. And so now I'm like, okay, I've done well and I've managed it through other ways, mainly providing a really good service, word of mouth, being active in communities like Facebook groups, paid traffic. Like, I've used those things. But now I feel like I'm having to start over a little bit because I'm having to put out content. I don't have that audience baked in like my business partner does. And so I wish I would have done that. But whether you're that route of the service provider or you're a content creator, pick one content platform.
Yeah.
And then share whatever it is. So if you are a service provider, then, you know, demonstrate your expertise, put that useful stuff out there. And, you know, and then I would say too, I think email marketing is a must.
Yeah.
Like with any of them, I would say pick YouTube or a blog, email marketing, and whatever it is you sell, and the rest, just ignore it.
I'm so glad you said that. Firstly, about the email marketing, because I don't know who put out this myth that email marketing is dead, but they can go just live in a hole. Like, live in a hole somewhere where the rest of us don't have to look at you. You should be ashamed of yourself, because it's a terrible thing to say. Email lists.
No, it's good. I hope they keep saying it. They can keep not making money and scare everyone off, and it'll just make our job easier.
They'll be like me and you and Bobby with email lists being like, whoa, this is great.
Exactly.
But I think that point about having one content platform is key, because everyone worries that they're going to miss out. What if I miss out on the next big thing? I mean, I remember when Periscope came out, and I talk about this all the time, right? People were like, but if I don't get on Periscope, and I went on it once and I was like, this is irritating. It was just, it didn't fit me. And I couldn't get used to the really annoying noise that it made on my phone every time somebody else in the world did a scope. And I deleted it really early on. So as a result, I didn't do anything with it. I didn't make anything from it. And people were like, oh, do you feel like you missed out? And I know some people who built good businesses from Periscope because they enjoyed it. And I never felt like I missed out, because I didn't want those people. I didn't need people who wanted me to be continuously reactive for everything. And I knew that I couldn't sustain that. So I think a lot of it is about, you pick your content platform, but also you've got to pick something you enjoy, because it's got to be sustainable. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to commit to a long-term content strategy around it.
Yeah. And you've got to pick something that you can do consistently as well.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that people screw up so bad. And, you know, like I said, I'm getting ready to do this YouTube channel. And a lot of that came down to, I was going to do a blog, and I think I'm a good writer. I know I do well with email. I love email. But when it comes to writing a blog, I'm just traumatized from all the writing in law school. And it takes me 2 weeks to write a 1,000-word piece of content. So I was like, but if you just turn a camera on or start recording, I can just crank it out off the cuff, no big deal. So I was like, okay, I need to go video. But I was going to go big on it. And one of my buddies was like, hey man, don't. Do one episode per week, get in your rhythm, get your systems. And then once you're there, you can always add more. But you don't want to go and do 3 a week, and then you have to pull back and you disappoint your audience. So I was like, okay, that's a great point. But you've got to do the thing that you can do consistently and the frequency that you can do consistently. And then when you're choosing these things, like, you need to think about your current life situation and where you want your life to be and how you want to spend your time as well. And so a lot of the reasons that I didn't build an audience, and I found other ways to build my business, even though other people were like, no, you should have done this. Like, even my online fitness business, I just ran paid traffic and I sold over the phone, because that was more time efficient for me than doing the blogging thing like all the other online fit pros do. I didn't have time for that. I was in law school. Like, I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing anyway, because it's a hellish 3 years of your life. But I had to do what worked. And then when I got into this agency thing, when I was starting out, I was working full time for an oil company as an attorney from home. Luckily, I got to work remotely. I had fitness business. I had the agency business when it was just me, and I had a newborn. I was doing all of these things at once, and I finally just started cutting them one at a time until I was left with stay-at-home dad and digital marketing. But every decision I made, it came down to like I was forced to focus because I didn't have time. And so, but what I realized is like I grew a lot faster because of that. And so if everybody would just sit and go, okay, what can I actually consistently do? What do I enjoy doing? And then let's find those couple things that get results and just ignore everything else, you're going to do well. But if you try to do everything, you're not. And now I'm in a place where we have a team, we have systems, like we can do more. We can do a podcast and I can do a YouTube channel and we can have a blog because we have a writing team. I have a video editor. When we create a podcast, we record it, we send it to my team, and then a few weeks later, it magically appears with a nice graphic and show notes, perfectly edited. It's uploaded everywhere. If you ask me how to do that, I couldn't tell you because even that, I hired somebody to teach my team how to do it because I knew long-term that was going to be a better investment than hiring somebody to do it for me long-term. And I already had this team in place. So like we have the luxury to kind of do more things now, but that's another thing. You can't look at like what we're doing or what you're doing or what other people are doing because they might have a lot more on the back end that you don't have. And early on, like you're not going to be able to do, you mentioned Neil Patel earlier. I can't do what he's doing. I don't have the same resources. And, most people listening to this probably don't either. So like, you just got to be honest with yourself about all those things and focus and just get really, really good at one thing and then add as you go. Once you master one thing, you can outsource it, then add something else.
I really like that. I think, you master your primary focus first. And then once you've actually got that, you've nailed it, you've systemized it, you can then move on. I think for one thing, for the people, so I call them my poddies, my listeners, they're my
nice.
Poddies.
I love that.
One of the things for the poddies though, is that traffic generation is not a big problem, but a lot of people have been burnt, like you mentioned earlier, through, I did this course, or I hired this ads manager, or I tried Google AdWords, or I tried this, that, and the other. When it comes down to it, you and Bobby have built this really, really successful side hustle, quotation marks, laptop empires.
Yeah.
Would you say that, if you were starting out, there would be one place for paid traffic for you guys? Would it be Facebook ads, or would you always be looking at what's the next big thing going to be?
Right now, today, 100% Facebook, and it's not even a question. Now, I will tell you, we are experimenting with Pinterest right now. We've just started experimenting with Pinterest. And because even like our side hustle course, we call it the Facebook side hustle course, but eventually we're just going to call it the lead gen side hustle course because we've taught it as like, here's how you build this business and here's the marketing principles. And Facebook just happens to be the traffic platform to use right now, but that might change. And what we're seeing right now with Pinterest ads looks promising. I know we're using it right now on some tests to run traffic, and we're doing about 10 cents a click, which is a little more expensive than what we're doing with Facebook, but it's also way cheaper than what most people are doing with Facebook. So we've just kind of figured out Facebook to where we're getting, the average cost per click is somewhere up around $2, but we're regularly doing under 50 cents and as low as 3, 4, 5 cents in some cases. But I think like that's the way to go. And I wish Bobby were here right now because he's a great example of this. Like he has this blog that's doing, 250,000 people visiting the blog every single month, which isn't huge in blogging standards, but he knows the other stuff. And so he monetizes it very well. But he is just now really going back and starting to focus on SEO. I think when you write and you create, you naturally get organic traffic, but he early on, for whatever reason, decided I'm going to do something different. And instead of I'm going to write and I'm going to be personal and I'm just going to like do it the way I want to do it. And then I'm going to focus on paid traffic. And so he used Facebook ads starting with like $1 a day. and worked it up to where he's spending hundreds of dollars per day now to drive traffic very cost effectively. And one of the reasons that we created our second course, Facebook Ads for Bloggers, was to teach people this, because we really believe like when you're starting out, you need quick wins. Like you talked about like going for so long and not getting results and how frustrating that can be. And I think for a blogger, a lot of that is, I'm not getting enough traffic. I'm not ranking in SEO. I'm not making any money from my affiliates, all of that. And Facebook allows you to turn on a water faucet of traffic and start finding out what your best content is. And then once you find the best content, you put the lead generation to get more email subscribers. You put the links to get more affiliate sales, or you beef up the ad display or whatever, and you can start making some of that money back. But what we love about it is it allows you to build momentum. And so instead of that being like so many content creators burn out in the first 6 months, so they don't feel that progress, it allows you to go in and say, wow, I'm seeing results. I'm getting results. And, you know, we have things that people are going in this course. And the example I told you before the call, one of our students, like she bought the course, the first week she put it, you know, implemented it. And after that first month, she's like, I only spent $80 the entire month. So, I mean, what is that? Like $2-3 a day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very little. And she figured it out. She was getting 9-cent clicks for a couple of posts. She threw some affiliate links in there and she made $380 back in affiliate income. And she's like, holy crap. Like, not only did this just become my second biggest traffic source compared to her organic Pinterest was her first one, but she's like, I made money on it and I'm just going to take that money. I'm going to put it right back in. And it's now she's just doing that every month. Like she's just reinvesting to grow this thing. And now she's having this like really fast growth curve that she wouldn't have had otherwise. And so you can start that way and it'll help you get traction and it'll help you find out what people click on because you're getting more eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
It helps you get new audience and build that email list and maybe make some money or at least mitigate some of those costs. But it allows you to get to monetization quicker. It allows you to, in the blogging aspect, to move up the chain of different ad platforms from AdSense to Mediavine to AdThrive, or I don't know the actual order, but like there's thresholds for each one. You need this much traffic. You need 40K. You need 100K. So it allows you to move through that and get higher commissions quicker. And then if you're like Bobby, where he did all of that, now he's going back and he's doing the research. He's using tools like Ahrefs and finding out this is where I'm doing well. This is where my competitors are doing well. And he's redoing blog posts. He's beefing them up. He's retooling them. And in some cases, some of these articles that which were already doing well with paid traffic are overnight jumping to the top 3 spots on Google. And he's seeing spikes of traffic, right? But he's got 3 years of content now. And so he's going back and he's finding and optimizing the best opportunities instead of trying to optimize every single one how he goes and it taking more time. So like his view was, I got to do 3 articles per week because all I was doing was focusing on writing instead of getting 1 article per week, focusing on writing perfectly for SEO.
Yeah. And I think that's so powerful. And if you take nothing else away, you know, from this, I think everyone needs to, again, we've come to this idea of focus, which throughout this 6-figure success series has been the name of the game. Every single person, every single guest we've had on has talked about focus, commitment, doing one thing, doing it supremely well. I think it comes down to picking your thing. You know, you and Bobby have been super successful in other areas first, but again, you didn't try and do them all at once. You didn't set up an online Fit Pro business and the marketing agency and the side hustle course all in one go. Like you didn't just sit there in January 2011 or whatever and go, yeah, I'm just going to do all of these and we'll see what works. You've got to be specific about what you want. And then you pick your, you know, it's the power of one from everything. You pick your one passionate idea and then you pick your one passionate traffic source and your one passionate content creation kind of plan. And you move through that way. It doesn't have to be forever. And that's the thing that I love about you and Bobby, right? You've both done different things. You picked your ideas for right now and you've moved on and you've grown and you've learned from those and you've come together with something that's completely different than where either of you started.
100%. And the reality is this time next year, it might be completely different. And 5 years from now, we might have pivoted again. I mean, my first business started, I don't know, somewhere in the 4 to 5 year range. I don't really keep track of that stuff, but like I've pivoted. This is my like third pivot. Now the digital marketing thing's still there, but this is technically my third business. He was blogging for 3 years. And if you look at it, like this is, well, I don't know when this is going live, but today as we record it, it's early November.
Mhm.
Bobby and I had not even had the phone call that the idea for this business came about yet. And this is a high 6-figure approaching 7-figure business in year one. And so it's like, it was end of November that we had the idea. And then we didn't talk again for 3 more weeks because I floated the idea and he was like, and I didn't hear from him, But so like, it's amazing how much can happen in such a short period of time. And so right now, like this is great and we're going to go with this, but already less than a year into it, we're seeing other opportunities and we're starting to plan, where do we go next? And the more you get into business and the more resources you have, the more options you have. And then you have to focus on options, like not get shiny object syndrome or not try to do too much. But when you eventually have an audience or you eventually have an email list or you have certain skills or you have certain connections, like all of those things open up doors for you to do different things. And it might be that like what you're doing today isn't what you're doing 3 years from now, because entrepreneurship, like a year as a business owner is like dog years. This is the longest year of my life. Like we've done so much. And it feels like 7 years ago. And it was, just over 9-10 months or whatever. So
Crazy.
yeah, I mean, it's absolutely crazy, but you've just focus now and just let it go where it goes kind of organically, but don't try and do too much. Don't try to win at everything. Like the FOMO thing will never go away. You're always going to have ideas. You're always going to want to do something else or want to try something else. And the more you fight that urge, the more successful you're going to be, I believe. At least that's been my experience. And that's been the experience of a lot of people I've talked to that are at similar levels or even beyond.
Yeah. Invest in only the things you need to move you forward from where you are right now, not the things that you're like, I might do that in 3 years' time. And right now they have an offer on it if I buy with 1 million bonuses. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. You've got to be all in on it. It's kind of like weight loss. Like you can't be 98% committed to a diet.
What do you mean? What is this awful thing that you're telling me? I'm like, okay.
Well, if you're just a little bit not committed to anything like this, you're not going to do well with it. You have to be 100% all in. It was very easy for us to start the podcast because it seemed fun. We wanted to do it. We're like, it happened easy. We made it happen. There's been other things that we've tried to do that we drug our feet on. And you kind of almost have to take that as a sign to not go that route.
Mm-hmm.
If you're really procrastinating or fighting a certain direction because you think you should go that direction or you think it's going to be a good opportunity, but you're fighting against it, that's a sign that you're never going to make it. Listen to that and trust your gut and go the way that you're being pulled instead. Because I think sometimes just like the passion for something and the work ethic that you'll put towards something because you are into it is going to take you a lot further than maybe the best practice. And I'm air quoting, even though no one can see that on this.
It's right. People are used to this. The poddies are totally used to me saying things to me like, oh yeah, quotation marks. Yeah. Seriously though, thank you so much. This is like gold. And I know that people are going to get such a lot from it because traffic generation, it becomes shiny object syndrome in itself. Nobody knows automatically which platform to use. There are so many people saying, oh, use Facebook, use Pinterest, use Instagram, use Twitter, use Snapchat, use whatever. And because it moves so quickly, it can be really hard to just think, I'm going to go with this one right now. I'm going to make it work, whatever happens, and kind of go tunnel vision on it, knowing that actually if you do stick at it, something will change, and I think that's the biggest thing from you is that you've got to give traffic a chance to actually work.
Well, Facebook's a good example because it's so, like, it's in the news even. There's been, every time Bobby and I have had a launch this year, either they've made an algorithm change that weekend or something like Cambridge Analytica has happened in the news. And we've had to overcome that in our sales launches and in our emails and stuff. But the reality is, despite all of the algorithm changes that have happened in the last year, and there's been some really big ones, if I sit here today and look back on it, it's had almost zero impact on our ability to get results for our clients or for ourselves. And the changes have been so minimal. They seem huge at the time because everybody makes a big deal out of them, but they really have no impact. And so, I get a lot of people now too. They're like, well, you're building this whole course and it's around Facebook. And I said earlier, we can just plug and play. We'll replace Facebook traffic with another traffic source eventually, and the rest of the course will still be good. But right now it works. And I'm not worried about Facebook tanking next year. It's not going to happen. Maybe 5 years from now, it won't be the best option. But for the next 2 to 3, it's going to be the best option because none of the other ones are even close. And Google AdWords is so expensive now. Yeah. So you can feel pretty safe going in and learning how to do this and using it because it's young enough that there's still time left on the platform, but it's old enough that a lot of the kinks have been worked out, and any changes they make tend to be more user-friendly changes than or these big overhauls that changes like, the whole entire method to the madness and how you do things. The principles aren't changing right now. So like, if you're worried about that, like, don't worry about it right now because you can feel confident. The way it is today is how it's going to be a year from now. There might be extra features, but that's all they're doing right now is adding extra features.
I love it. I love that. And it's true, So where can people find you guys if they want to see you, Bobby, and obviously your ridiculously cool mascot, which I'm hoping if you ever do something with me on it, you're going to have the bear with like a British flag or Buckingham Palace or something behind it. Like that, I'm just putting that in there, that there needs to be a British bear thing going on.
Well, we need to schedule a time for you to come on the podcast then, or do some sort of training that we can put out. And then, like I said, we've got the comic book artist on staff. We literally, this is how ridiculous this is. Last time I was like, when we put in some orders for stuff, I was like, man, okay, I want one of, his name's Biggie Snugs, the teddy bear. And I was like, okay, we want Biggie walking off of a private jet. And he sent him and he was in this suit. And we're like, okay, lose the pants. We're going to Donald Duck this shit. Like we want him. So we got that. And then I was like, I want one with him like a fat wad of cash. Like he's flipping through all these, these bills. And he was like, I've got a better idea. Do you mind me having a little artistic leeway? And I'm like, go for it. So he sends me this throne made of money. So it's the bear with his crown just lounging on this money. Incredible. So, I mean, it's literally whatever we want, we can make it happen. And I love that having the palace or like the flag or something like in the background, we've got to do that. Like we need to do something like collaborate on something now just for the art.
I think that would be brilliant. But where can people find you? Where can they find Mike, Bobby, and Biggie Snugs?
So laptopempires.com. There's no hyphens or anything. We managed to snag that domain. But if you go to laptopempires.com/Facebook-ads-for-bloggers, that's actually our second course. But I think for your audience, as we started talking, the side hustle course is more for like, if you want to learn how to make money running Facebook paid traffic, it's about running lead gen. But the Facebook ads for bloggers one, it's not just for bloggers. It's about anybody that is a content creator that wants to, or if you are a service provider and you just want to promote your content and grow your audience. We teach you how to get those incredibly cheap clicks. We teach you how to get the incredibly affordable list building. And it's done in a way that we give you a whole bunch of tools, a whole bunch of strategies, and how it all fits together. But then you can kind of take one, it's a toolbox. Like you take the tools you need and apply them to your business. And it comes with our support community. So when you get the course, that is one of the things that we do differently. In addition to Bobby and I, we have 3 paid Facebook ad agency owners that are in there answering questions around the clock, live trainings every week. And then just like you're in our community, there's 2 or 3 other agency owners that are good friends of ours that just hang out in there, and we don't pay them, but they just answer questions because they like our community. So the support is unreal. If you're working on a project, we can answer your question, help you out. but it's laptopempires.com/Facebook ads for bloggers with the little dash in between each word.
Seriously, this has been epic. And honestly, guys, if you are interested in increasing your traffic, I would wholeheartedly recommend Mike and Bobby purely based on what I've seen in their community and how much they genuinely do care about their audience and the kind of results they really do get behind the scenes. There are no Lamborghinis and, mattresses made of money, apart from the bear. Obviously, the bear is the only one who gets to
have. The bear is extra, right? They're not so fancy, but the bear is definitely bougie.
The bear is the original gangster behind all of this magic. Thank you so much for coming on. Seriously, this has been amazing. Guys, please make sure you check out laptopempires.com. And if you are interested in increasing your traffic, increasing your visibility, heading over to laptopempires.com/Facebook-ads-for-bloggers, and you will get everything that you need to know. And I will see you in Monday's episode. If you've been enjoying the 6-Figure Success series, then I hope that you will take this opportunity to grab your totally free, actionable workbook where you can record your key takeaways, your key action points, and hear my key learns from this series as well. It's jam-packed full of all of the interviewees who've participated and taken part in the series, as well as a few bonus key extras from me. You can go and download it right now using the link in the show notes. I'll see you inside the workbook.